Oh my gosh, finally. I'm so sorry, guys. This. Oh my gosh, finally. I'm so sorry, guys. This. Right then. So now I just have to get this live stream link to everyone else who's waiting in a different one because YouTube's super cute. Share, copy, link. Where is it? So apparently it's over here. Sorry guys. Why am I getting errors? Okay. So I don't know who's all watching. Sorry, I tried to set up an event on YouTube and they have this new beta studio thing and it's not compatible with my brain, apparently. So whatever. How are you guys tonight? I have 4 models to finish. My goal is to try and race through all of them. I also moved the camera because I realized I was like leaning over and you guys were just seeing the top of my head last time. So hopefully this is a little bit more personal. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry about that. The half an hour of messing with this because YouTube wants to drive me insane. That's my personal view of it. It's probably a little emo on my part, but my goodness, I don't even understand why they change stuff so dramatically from week to week, or at least on me. Whatever. Anyway, I have 4 models. There are 4 models. Last week we painted this guy. Oh man, I still need some better fill light here, but you can kind of see Clubman from last time. Hi Samuel, how are you doing? Thank you Joseph, appreciate you. Brian, thanks for watching from your vacation. Appreciate you spending some time here. Paul, I know you're having a good time out in what can I just say? Can I say that where you're visiting? And yes, thank you to everyone else who took the time to hang out. So anyway, I painted Axeman and Clubman last week. I think it looked pretty good. I ended up going back over and dry brushing some more of the gray onto their cloaks because I thought they were a little too green. So if you actually watch the video, they're more green than this, and then I went over and re-highlighted them, dry brushed them. So since then, we have Headless Man. And yes, they're all chain rasps, whatever. Hanged Man. And this guy with a board. You can't call him Axeman because he already has. There's a different one. And then, of course, the Briar Queen. So I'm a little hesitant because I kind of wanted to make sure I had my stuff perfected for the other 3, my technical paint wash technique done before I mess with her because she's the prettiest and obviously she needs to look the best. She's also the girl, so you gotta work the hardest on her. Okay, thank you, Paul. Yeah, so you're enjoying Warhammer World, and I've been super appreciating the pictures you've been sending me because it looks amazing. I've never been to Warhammer World, and I definitely want to head there now. So thanks for that. Let's see, that's washing. That's the one I've been using. As you can see, I'm using fine, cheap paints or paintbrushes that don't even have names on them. Kiki. My friend gave me his Signar army. It's huge. It's a huge half of it's just primed. Hey, Chef, how are you? Ah, greetings from Oz. I'm avoiding work by watching you. Well, you can just watch me work. That's kind of like working. We'll count it. All right, which one of these dudes should I work on first? Because we're gonna just try and like run through them. Boardman, Headless Man, or Hanged Man? Oh, I also need to pull up a picture of them. Half painted Signar isn't bad. I'm surprised you get that much of it painted, to be honest. Did I say that? Oh, and it sucks because Signar's such a beautiful army. They've got great colors and they look so good. Like, you know, like these guys. These remind me of Signar, the Sigmarites here. They remind me of Signar. This guy's looking awesome. Like, they're coming along. My friend Flo actually painted up my chosen axes, or my naked dwarves as I like to refer to them. They look amazing. So now I have to, of course, catch up with it and bring my A game on this. I'll show what all 4 of them look like actually, because they're super cool. These are actually the first guys I played with at Valhalla last year. That's when I played Shadespire for the first time. So you got Leader Man, great little highlights going on. You can see on his skin the scarring are his brands of the marks. Excellent mohawk, looking great. So, my friend Flo, as usual, bringing her A game. And then me, like, sort of competing. Do you remember the Arkham Horror video? Of course. Design and 3D print your own. Oh, Brian, you watched the battle report with me and Amanda. Yes, is it cheesy? Is it a little cheesy? I really want... Okay, so whenever that happened, I really, really, really wanted to bring a Storm Sword because I've never tried it. I have a Storm Lord downstairs that I have to assemble and paint. And I've been super excited to have these Lords of War because I feel like... I love my Imperial Guard. Lehman Russ tanks are really cool, but it's really frustrating because things just run up and engage them and then there's a whole turn and they can't shoot or whatever. So with the super heavies, they can still shoot, and so I've been really excited to try all of those. And so the opportunity to try a Storm Sword happened, and it was only a 1,000-point game, and I know it really seems cheesy and then the deployment really messed her up, so it was a short game at least. Oh man. Frankie, I'm doing great already. Been a long week playing some Blood Bowl on the PC. Nice. 200 picks at Warhammer World, Paul. I want to see all of them. Kicked me out. What's your opinion of the new Warcry warbands? Let me give you my opinion on it. Let me look up what you're talking about. Oh, AOS. Images. Oh yeah. They look cool. What is it they're talking about? Warcry, a new Age of Sigmar game. So I can't keep up with all the GW games. They come out with them at such a rate that if it sticks, then hopefully I'll get a chance to play it, you know? The artwork is fantastic though. Holy cow. Wow. All right. I can be on board with that, but let's see. Nice paint jobs. Working on heroes from the Undercity board game. Nice. Still haven't painted my dwarfs, or whatever the name is. Chosen axes. So yeah, I'm sorry, I don't actually know anything about Warcry. I guess that's just a new game altogether. I'm happy to be able to be jumping into Shadespire, and that's already been out for a while. So let's give you an idea of where I'm coming from. Okay, so we're gonna use this brush, and we're going to paint up. Oh, Headless Man does look pretty cute. Headless Man has top part of him is that brown, and then everything else. Okay, he should be nice and easy. Let's race through him. I'm gonna try and just be fast, so hopefully that doesn't end up being bad. First, I start off with my Hexwraith Flame technical paint. Me trying to sound like a GW announcer. Although I do find it funny that the lady who talks about the GW games is American. All right, so let's throw that on there, get some water going. Are you liking the contrast paints? I have not touched contrast paints. You're on painting burnout, Eric? Oh, see, for me, I've found that the painting has actually been what's probably helping get me out of burnout, because it was an opposite problem for me. The idea of recording games would become very, very stressful. And so, in order to help get back into it, Actually, how do you guys end up handling like burnout? Is it just time for you, Eric, or is it like you do something else and then it gives you the itch to play or gives you the itch to paint? It's usually what happens to me. I do something else, especially if I'm talking about the game. If we're talking shop about the game, then I'm all itchy to play. Oh, you're finally back. This is exciting as that time. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to see you at Valhalla again, right? Because I'm going to demand the new shtick. Because we all know about that time in 1998 when The Undertaker did something. Painting my random warjacks. I have 2 mini jacks done, 1 more lancer and stormclad. Oh, nice. I paint orcs. Lots of orcs. Okay. Thought you had. So, good. I look forward to seeing you. Will you do any battle reports for Shadespire? So here's what I'm thinking on Shadespire, because it's a really short game to play. And according to the rules, and I don't know if this is how you all play it, you do sort of a best 2 out of 3, which is interesting just because, again, you are playing games in such a short period of time. At the end of 3 rounds, you're done, you add up whatever you've got, and then that's that. So if you do sort of a best 2 out of 3 games scenario where it kind of probably helps mitigate bad stacking of the deck, so the card deck doesn't really, mess you over as far as your game goes. So I'm thinking that would be a really fun game to live stream and hang out. So there is a new dedicated space in my house that was one of my many, many summer projects that is mostly done. I can show you a little bit of it, sort of in focus. Take this one. So you can kind of see. This is like my stream room that I've just dedicated, and that's my new background or whatever. And so I've got this streaming table here, which is nice and dark. Ooh, there we go. Anyway, it's huge. It's a nice 6x8, fully fine-topped table. And what it does is it creates a nice space for everybody to hang out and play games and live stream that. So my interactions with you guys can be more frequent. And then as far as actual battle reports, that's probably going to still be more of the games like Kill Team and obviously 40K, and I'd like to do War Machine, but there's games that are just small that instead of spending all your time editing them together, because I think a game of Shadespire as a fully edited battle report, the way I do it, would be like 3 minutes long. So why not just enjoy the interaction of the whole thing? That's my theory. We'll see if it works. Alright, so I'm getting him, green, 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 green. This part won't matter since I'm going to paint that a different color. So, yeah, there we go. Ta-da! So pretty. Let's see. Do you post all your battle reports on YouTube? Currently, yes. And that's not likely to change. YouTube is primarily the place I do it. I have been pulling some of the videos over to post on Twitch, but they're the same videos, so you can kind of look at them in either places. Is the idea. When I burn out painting, Paul, I switch to something very different, like Blood Angels to Necrons or Chaos to Tyranids. Oh, like you go to painting different models? Yeah, I guess I definitely have that option. Although it's not like I don't have enough cater to paint, and I actually find that fun. Beginner question, do you use shade after base coat or after detailing? Shade is a detail. So for me, it's base coat, fill in the other colors, wash with the shades, and then do my dry brush highlights. So it's like the second to last step generally before sealing. I read about aspects of the hobby. I enjoy it, and invariably it gets the motivation going, e.g. I mostly paint and play historical stuff, so I just picked up a history book, and away I go. Ooh, what kind of history, Ian? Like which, I don't know, period of time are you interested in. After base coating, before detailing. Yes. Have you played Saga? I have not. I did get Necromunda to play a small skirmish game. Nice. We should totally do another Arkham Horror video. So yeah, actually my friend Flo and I were talking about that the other day. Because I agree, it would be fun. I'm gonna let this one dry and I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy started. I think that would be super fun. There's a new edition of Arkham Horror out now anyway. So it would kind of be worth getting a, I guess an updated take in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? So that's what I agree with you. That is, but here's the thing, like if I do Arkham Horror, it's gotta be a Halloween special or something, right? Like it's gotta be for the holiday. And what I've wanted to do for a while, and I've been a little bit cheap about it, is there's a hotel here in town called Hotel Park. And, you know, creepy story, it used to be an insane asylum. And then they're like, okay, well, we ran out of funding, so they let everybody out. And then later they converted it to a hotel. So now it's this creepy hotel that's kind of pricey to stay at, but I figured like a Arkham Horror game recorded there would be really interesting. And you know, spooky. Because obviously we like spooky things. Look at my spooky ghosts. So spooky. Lots of shelves to put on painted models. There's not enough shelves, to be honest. We could talk about the shelves I have. I painted Nighthaunts purple to pink to try something new. Nice. What size brush do you use for shading? Honestly, about this size. So, I don't know. It's, what is it, a medium brush or whatever they call it? Just something that can hold the wash and give you enough flexibility, because you want to let shades pool, but you also you don't want a brush that's too big where it's just going everywhere. You want a brush that's pointed enough that you can push the shade into spots you want, but you also want it big enough that you're just going to get coverage. You don't want to just have these little, if it's too small, you'll end up with little lines, and that's ugly. Sorry to look up your skirt there, Ghost, but gotta get in there. Awkward. He doesn't care. And yeah. Get his arm there. So. And we don't have to be super precise about this because it's base coat, and the big thing about base coating, at least in my view, is to cover all of the primer. And then you kind of push in your details as you get your other paints on. But you don't want primer anywhere. And it's sitting in the corner. The models are assembled base coat, and that's as far as I got. That's fair. So what is Thorns of the Briar Queen army? They look like zombies or spirits. Yeah, they're specters. There's a queen who is locked in the Night Vault who was freed. And so, because I'm trying to remember the story on it, but she's there to kick out the interlopers who are trying to conquer the area, because there's the big king of the Night Vault or whatever. And so she's working for him. They have interesting rules because they can move through hazardous zones and hexes that are obstacles that are blocked. And so you get a lot of flexibility of movement, and you get 7 models. So I played a game with them versus orcs, and they like slaughtered all of the orcs. It was crazy. So they're actually surprisingly tough. Now his dice rolls may have not been doing him any favors, so there's that. But I liked them. I thought they were fun. The Briar Queen herself has different spells that she casts than everyone else. It's kind of funny because if they begin their activation engaged to an enemy model, they inspire, so they're really easy to get upgraded. You should decorate that figure with waifus. Nope, Siobhan, that is a you thing. Dark Ages, medieval history, or the ever-popular ancient Rome. Interesting. You're thinking of Eldritch, and it would be awesome for a Halloween special. I swear there's a new Arkham Horror update that's like that has streamlined rules. Am I thinking of Eldritch? Is this a different thing? Hi, Space Wolves 2018. Contrast paints. No, these are technical paints, which kind of look a lot like contrast paints. I will send you some of my other minis that I haven't uploaded yet on your channel. Okay, definitely. Sable or Tycon? This is probably neither. Been really busy lately. Funny thing, at Warhammer World today, I'm just wandering around, met my local GW manager. He was there for training that day. That's awesome. You guys are talking about brush quality and stuff. I use the brush until it dies, and then I replace it with another cheap brush, so I am not the person to ask about that. Poor dude has a nail in his hand. That's fair. That's fair, Chaos Emperor. But I feel compelled to apologize. I do tend to, So when I do stuff in general, like whether or not I'm typing on the computer at work or painting, I do a lot of sound effects for my own entertainment. And it's hard not to anthropomorphize them a little bit. Just be like, oh, sorry, dude. Oh, that's gonna be terrible. Or I get them killed in Shadespire and I'm like, sorry. Like, I can't help it. I think a strong base coat is a secret to a good paint job. Strong foundation, you know. That's right. It's good advice for life right there. Well, I'm off to dinner. Take care, Eric. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you hanging out. Especially after all of the trouble I had on the stream, so thank you for your patience on that. I'm done with the main base coat, just deciding if I should do the Tau Flesh before shading. So just remember, and I don't know if anybody answered your question already on that, it depends on if the Tau Flesh is already the color you want or not, because if you shade it, you're going to make it darker, and so you'd have to redo it if you are specifically wanting it to have that lighter color. So just is a matter of what you want to do. I stripped my friend's Thunderhead Jack. Super messy and no detail could be seen. I'm sad. You stripped the paint off it, or you like melted the model? I'm actually not clear on what you mean there. Or you could be thinking of 3rd edition. I don't know. Personally, unless you want to speed paint all my stuff for a tournament, yes. But quality painting has always been my strong suit. To go old school. Oh, I think you're talking about contrast paints. I find it best to use cheap brushes for most of the model and better fine brushes for details like eyes. Yes. I generally agree with that. I've had fairly good luck using my different quality brushes, we'll say. For, ooh, that is way too diluted. Let's just fix that. Did you see the Kickstarter for the 3 Privateer Press art books? The one from a few months back? I backed it. If the art, you're talking about the art of Privateer Press? Yeah, I've always loved their artwork, so. I mean, they've had a lot of different types and a lot of different styles in it, but when they came out with the art book, I thought that was awesome. So I believe I backed for the book as well as the PDF, which I think you get anyway at whatever backing level. So I'm getting his insides there again. So yes, I did. I think that's the one you're talking about. I don't think there was anything more recent than that. When was that? It was late last year, I guess. I don't think it was that recent. I don't even remember. Time has passed very strangely for me, so. Are you guys able to see that okay? This kind of looks aquamarine. And this is me having to shake this paint again, I think. He did it red and pink, almost Cater red. Yeah, so I always use the Citadel brushes, maybe slightly more expensive, but I like them. Well, and that's the thing, right? You should use what you find works best for you. There we go. That's better. The green had settled down. It's funky. Funky. And so it just depends. I mean, you can do a lot with all kinds of different paints, just depending on your own comfort level with them or your own experience. So don't take that away. If that works for you. What do they say? You do you, or what have you. So yeah, I'm just throwing this on there so it gets enough time to paint before I come back around. This is literally my technique for painting all infantry. And it's actually one of the things I enjoy doing because some kind of zen quality to it. Oop, there we go. Am I getting that in there? Okay. And I actually have my better camera on the miniature, so I need to figure out the lighting for it and improve that a bit. I'm just gonna apparently blob all that on there. There we go. And then just making sure I get everything is the other trick. That's gonna all be dark. That's the inside of his cloak, his hands. His head is covered, so that makes that easy enough. Okay, we'll try that out. And then we can rotate back around. Winsor Newton series, my personal favorite. You do really fine details, so obviously that works really well for you. Hats off to you. I think War Machine, Space Wolves, I think War Machine has a lot of good quality miniatures, and that's a challenge always to paint, but it looks damn awesome when it's done. I agree. I got to preview the new Bloody Barnabas model, and that guy looks amazing. I was beyond impressed with the sculpt on that model. Actually, I missed something. I need to repaint his hand. They've upped their game a lot. And it's not like they ever particularly had bad miniatures, but I think they had a little bit of trouble adjusting to... Well, it used to be that they would sculpt the models and then they went to a digital format, and I think it can be a little scary doing that just because you never know how how practical a model designed in a 3D box, like 3D Studio Max or Mudbox or any of those, are going to translate to a physical item. In fact, that always scared me about the Infinity models because they were like skinny. Go to dollar store and buy 30 brushes. I'm not above this. Primitive press models are easy. Oh, and now my computer's locking up. Beautiful. Next paint we're doing is the Night Haunt Gloom. It's gonna just wash over everything, so this green is actually an undercoat. I use Citadel brushes a ton, mostly glaze. Fair enough. I commission paint, so I need better lasting brushes. Yeah, what you're doing definitely makes sense, guess. For dry brushing, I use cheap makeup brushes. Yeah, the ELI brushes are apparently really popular for that. Does Donald have his own YouTube channel? I'm not sure who you're talking about. Yeah, last quite a bit longer because they are higher quality brushes. You would hope that should make them last longer. Whoa. I think there was just a big thing. I will bring my fanny pack filled with butterscotch candy to Valhalla. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Finally, the power's back on. Now I can stop painting my flashlight. Bill, my goodness, what part of the country are you in? Or where are you? Noticed to stop posting videos for a while. Did you take a break? Yes. So I had to sort a bunch of stuff out with my my schedule and my time and everything, and so there were some things that affected it for a while. Part of it was just like I was really running out of space in my house to work. All right, so for this night hunt, I'm gonna start from the bottom, which is what GW Dude does, and kind of work my way up and try and dilute it a bit more, just because it's more of a wash. And then we're gonna dry brush the ever living out of it. So it was a break, though it wasn't necessarily intended to be so long. But I have space in my house again, and things are good. Oof. And so the whole idea, I'm trying to remember how GW Man did it, is where it's darker on the bottom than at the top. So I'm just trying to make that work. I find painting to be a personal experience. Some people like the NMM, for instance, while I personally loathe it. And some I use expensive brushes, some I don't. I've gained results with both. Fair enough. What is your IG? Oh, just Shivan. I did buy 2 Series 7 brushes, which were sable. Never used it yet, but my cat can smell them. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, Dawn will play an Arkham Horror. Let me catch up on the things. Can't paint this time. I got everything packed for the move. Well, hopefully you can get back to it soon. Tyler, I'm sorry if this is a question you've answered before. First time catching in a live stream. Why did you stop doing battle reports? My daughter loved watching them together. It's not a stopping thing. It's just the time issue. So they do take a lot of time to do, and I had to prioritize some other things for a while. So it kind of got put on hiatus. I appreciate that you and your daughter were watching them, like specifically the War Machine battle reports, because I will be doing some other games, I should point out. Like I'm gonna be covering, I've got Kill Team as a game on my timeline now. I've got some event coverage stuff I did, which isn't actually very different from what I did before. And there we go, that's better. And then some War Machine I do want to get to. It's just it's been hard to justify the time spent on that one. It's just War Machine took a pretty big hit locally for me, and so it's not so easy to get those games right now. Donald from Arkham Horror. He moved away. He's off living in California. He never did a YouTube channel on his own. He just would hang out on ours or mine, which was, again, super fun. He's a super fun guy. But I don't think he ever particularly took an interest in doing his own channel. Near Cleveland? Your power was out near Cleveland? Is that just a normal occurrence? Or do you have hail up there right now? Because that can get you. I am just making a hot mess of this model. There we go, that's more of what I'm looking for. I just moved into a kind of haunted house, interestingly enough. You guys are talking about the vault. Creepy. My house is haunted by my cat. How do you feel about the Infernals? They're getting me into War Machine. The Infernals are interesting. They've been around for quite a while. Are you familiar with the lore on the Infernals, Tyler? Because, the other thing I should point out that's had me, like, away from my channel is, and it probably sounds more and more like an excuse each time because it's driving me nuts, but in August of last year, we started this massive project to do an Iron Kingdoms campaign to be recorded for YouTube as well as local television. So we actually have everything recorded. It's just a matter of getting all of the post effects done. And guess whose job that is. So that's being worked on. But I have 22 episodes in the can, which means that when all of it starts airing, it will have a lot. There will be a lot to see. It'll be full 22 episodes. Like, it'll be very exciting. So it's not like I got away from necessarily Privateer at all. It's just the War Machine battle reports ended up taking a break because I was working on the IKRPG campaign, and that is an original story on it, so it's not a module or anything either. And yeah, I think it'll be really, really, really cool when it comes out. So stay tuned. It is happening. Like it's recorded and shot. It just needs to be finished. Story of my life, but whatever. There we go. From bright green to less bright green. You tried to fight Underworlds at Adepticon, but those free warbands got to you. Oh, yes, basically. I think I talked to you about that, right? Okay, yeah. I'll pull out my Nighthaunt and paint with you. Sweet. Come join. The idea for me is that maybe I can make this, maybe I can get more painting done because, like, I'm on the hook because I'm doing a live stream when that's working. So maybe that's a good idea. Oh. Did you ever get into Infinity? I remember you did a video on a big event in New Mexico. I actually have another video coming out covering that event. It's the Rumble on Route 66 tournament. It's a satellite tournament that Corvus Belli partly sponsors. And I like Aristea. Infinity is hard for me to get into, admittedly. It's I don't know, man. It's like the style of the game or something for me. And it's rough because we have a huge meta here and really nice players and the company's super awesome. So I'm like, why am I being contraried like this? But that aesthetic, man, I'm just not a fan of anime. Sorry, Hui. I think I figured out my technique for getting the blue on at least a little better. Sort of staring at it, wondering what on earth I was doing. Get this on and answer some more questions. It's so funny to try and paint quickly. There we go. Let that technical paint seep in. I'm actually honestly not sure why this is different from a contrast paint. I haven't messed with the contrast paints. I've seen the results. I was talking to Chris Bello at Mini Wargaming about them, and he was insisting. He was telling me that no, they're good. I guess they're different, but they're sort of a mid-level, like they keep you only ever at a level. Like you won't be winning Golden Demons just using contrast paints. You can use them as an element for sure, but they there's a control issue with a lot of them. Make sure this is staying in focus. Sorry, guys. Whoa, that's way too much. So many things. Hey, first time, long time catching a live stream. Yes, thank you. I just got into airbrushing. Looking forward to practicing this week. I have bone splinters coming in the mail. Nice. Here's where he's at so far if you want to see his detail. Let's see. Briar, thanks for hanging out. The IKRPG will be epic. That's a fact. Basically, objective fact. Howdy from Texas. Hey, Paul. Whatever floats your boat, the hobby's for you. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments. I'm sorry. You don't like Ghost in a Shell? I liked the live action movie. Is that controversial? So I used to actually be into anime more when I was like a young teenager. I thought Evangelion was cool, and I was into Lane, and to an extent, I was kind of into Cardcaptor Sakura. And then after a while, I was like, there's so much anime. There's way too much. And it started, you know, a lot of it kind of started looking overly similar. There were a lot of weird themes that, I don't know, to me, I think I grew out of, but I mean, to each his own. I usually just heckle my friends who do love anime because they usually give me crap for not liking it. So, of course, the only way to react to that is to ridicule them in return because that's what friends do. So, I don't actually generally care. I thought Evangelion was certainly interesting. It's very... I thought it was cooler when I was younger, and then part of me, you know, getting older and learning more about philosophy kind of... I'm like, okay, this is a little more emo than I remembered, but it's fine. It is what it is. That would kind of be an additional layer. I would rather that was darker. Ta-da! Maybe we'll see in a moment. I just want to make this bottom part look more blue. There we go. So I don't know if it comes across super well on the video, but there's a little bit more of a gradient now on the bottom going up. It's the hopefully it has the desired effect. Dipped my brush in coffee and beer a few times. That's horrible. I'm sorry. In Battle Angel Alita, it was alright. It was fine. There's another make. I also heard there's another on the make, and that is Akira. And so I remember Akira way back when, because I used to follow voice actors, and I thought Cam Clark was the coolest voice actor on earth, which I still kind of think is true. And so he did the dubbed voice for Kaneda, and so that's how I got into all that. But it's still a super weird anime. Privateer in my area totally fell off after Mark III dropped. Such a shame. And every store in the area clearanced out too. Monster Apocalypse isn't selling either. That's unfortunate. Yeah, they've did you hear about their new game that they're coming out with? I think it's going to be for Lock and Load next year, Warcaster. It's a whole other war game that's going to be a sci-fi. That's sort of in a future version of the world that we know of. So I think they're trying to rejuvenate their audience by building a new one in a way. I don't know, it looks interesting. You need to get Codex Dan here with you. That boy lives 1,000 miles away, straight north. So it's kind of hard. Hopefully I'll see him at Valhalla, and we do need to get in a game together because it's been too long. Your opinion, Stormcast, where blue is galaxy gold. I don't know, what color should that be? So here's my Stormcast. That's what we went with, which I think is awesome. I love high contrast in models like that. So, and this is, the gold here is literally just a brown with an antique gold dry brush over it. It's kind of a heavy dry brush, but it helps keep it from looking so shiny. Most of my models tend to go for a more dingy, gritty look, so that's what I do. Guyver was my favorite anime. I don't think I saw that one, but I remember some weird ones. Was it Bubblegum Crisis was one? And of course there was Robotech. Building my Troggoth army while you paint. Awesome. Neon Genesis is awesome, but depressing. It's just really nihilistic, and it's fine, you know. But it's just you're right. It is a very bleak outlook. I actually felt that way about Game of Thrones. So. Okay, let's catch up on it. Macross and Star Blazers are my favorite. My buddy did some of the voice acting for Akira. Really? That's super awesome. The remake, is that going to be a live action or another cartoon? And does he get access to like be a voice actor in that too? Interesting enough, here in my town, it's still going great with War Machine and Apocalypse. Yeah, and I know there are definitely some places that still maintain a really strong meta for that. Albuquerque, I don't really feel is one of them, but it may be. It's a little fractured here. Albuquerque fractures really easy. Codex Dan got me back into wargaming. Aw. He's literally running around like trotting the globe. He's been to Thailand like 3 times and just goes freaking hiking up in the snowy mountains of Canada in flip-flops. Stresses me out. Ever used scale 75 paint? No. Nihilism is the perfect word. Yep. Gold, I don't know what color. I think I have to use that brown antique gold trick on my Iron Warriors. I've been super happy with it. You know how when it's one of the things I look at whenever I look at making like a costume, because if you follow cosplayers, right, a lot of their stuff looks too clean. They'll have, you know, this wig, and it's super clean wig, and they'll have, you know, some tactical uniform on, and it's just immaculately clean because it's brand new. So whenever I was doing my Jill Valentine stuff, I was really concerned about it coming off too much like a Halloween costume. And so, and you know, I watch probably too many movies. But if you watch, you know, what movies do is they're always dirtying stuff up. It's one of the things you can tell between like kind of a, we'll just say, less expensively shot fantasy film and a more expensive one. You can almost tell by how dirty the outfits are, because they are taking all this time to make everything gritty and looks like and make it look like you live in the world. Because, you know, you have the same armor on day after day. If that's been your armor for years, it's probably not immaculate, unless you're doing that for a storytelling purpose to point out that it's not really used, it's only ceremonial, this guy doesn't really involve himself in battle, whatever you're doing from a story perspective. So I like to focus on making things feel realistic in quoties, because, you know, we're talking about night haunts here. So, yeah, no, that is what it is. But they need to look like they're from this other world and they didn't have dry cleaning there. No. It's a good way to explain it, right? My nail keeps catching. Jonathan Osborne's. Hey, that's really cool, Paul. I love that. Hey, Sammy, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Check out their paints. Their metallics are really nice. Okay. Always liked bladed gold from P3. You know, I've actually never used a P3 paint because I can't get it in game stores. Like, I've never been in a game store that sold P3 paint, and I've just never bothered to order it, because if I'm gonna order stuff, it's probably gonna be models, and I'm one of those like impulse buyers for paint, where if I'm in the store, I'm like, oh, I really need another Nuln Oil, and then how about another Agrax Earth Shader? Oh, that color's cool. I bet that could look kind of neat. And then, you know, why would I think ahead and order such paints? That's silly. So I've never used a P3 paint, but I've heard they're good. So, you know, I assume that part of their market's still doing okay. Okay, he's all wet and I've gotten it all over my hands. Yay me. What, no dry cleaning? I know. They live like savages. It's just the worst. It's just... Robotech and Star Blazers. How about Captain Harlock? I don't know. Robotech, yes. Star Blazers, I didn't see. Bye, Bill. Thanks for coming by. Iron within, iron without. Vallejo paints are that's what my friend Flo uses. So those dwarves were painted with Vallejos, and some Citadels actually too. Boiled metal P3 is nice. Fair enough. Vallejo are great to work for thin blending and layers for every kind of work. See, and you know what you're talking about with all that as far as like blending and layering and stuff. I've blended before to paint like lips on a model because I wanted sort of a skin tone with like more pink, and then I blend the two colors, and I'm all proud of myself for doing that, and that's about what I do. That's about the extent of it. I like coat d'arms and or Vallejo. Have a good night, Miranda. Catch you later. Bye, Brian. Thanks for hanging out. We are going to do some dry brushing now. Let's see here. So this guy just got done, so we're going to come back to Headless Man and dry brush everything. Everything. Stormcast Eternal Blue is a galaxy type theme. Gold. Need help choosing the armor colors. Well, do you have a general theme that you use? I always feel I don't have much of a suggestion for like what colors one should choose for their armor. My default is to just use as few colors as possible. That got really strong. We're gonna just dry brush this super light. By the way, these Citadel paints are great. After I had been painting my thumb like half the night last time, it took days for that paint to come off. Oh God, that just freaks me out. Look how much that model's wiggling. Ugh. Has me super scared when it comes to the Briar Queen, 'cause she's got all these little delicate vines and things hanging off. Freaks me out. It's funny. Here's the two layers, and now we're gonna hide everything behind a dry brush. Because really, that was just the smoky effect. Howdy from Idaho. Just got off work and I'm painting some Scarab Occult Trimus tonight. Nice. Team Maya has great paints and non-organic paints. Mainly use them for painting Gundam. Ooh, yeah. Those are fun. How goes it, Miranda? I like to see up close what you painting. Here. He's a chain rasp. And I'm trying to follow the colors, the paint scheme that was given by one of the GW guys on their Learn How to Paint the Briar Queen Thorns, or Thorns of the Briar Queen. So that's where he's at. I've just put the base coat in of the Hexwraith Flame, and then Nighthaunt Gloom went over it, and now I'm dry brushing with the Ulthuan Gray. Off topic, but it's nearly 4 a.m. and I'm hearing drunk people wandering down the hallway in my hotel. Paul, are you going to be able to get enough sleep before you have to head home tomorrow? Where the blue is will be Galaxy, but I'm thinking black or gold or a deep silver. Black gold or a deep silver? With the blue? Both of those could look really cool, actually. An airbrush may be another way to go on her. Yeah, I don't know anything about airbrushing, so we're just going to wing it. Nice and merry, Paul, at least we have company. Dry brushing covers a multitude of sins like Null Nile. What do they call it? Liquid talent? Yeah, I'm all over this. And back to massive dry brushing. And this is what you use a cheap brush for, because you are going to destroy it, generally speaking. What am I doing? I have a specific model holder I've been staring at. Go me. This is the story of my life. Oops. Alright, get in there. There we go. nice and snug. Happy models. I don't know why I just spaced putting that on. Sorry. Ta-da! My GW model holder. Makes things so much better so you don't accidentally wipe the paint off with your hand. Oops. Nah, it's been fine. Nice. Ghosty spooker. Oh, that's a bit much. Oh gosh. It's like you have to get all of the spots, all of the things. But I really like the super pale, you know, spooky look. So it's kind of materializing on you, sort of what they look like they're doing. And it works because their special rules are that they can go through obstacles and other models even, so they do materialize. Spooky. There you go. That's a lot. By comparison, there's where it started. So you can kind of see the difference right there. Happy models. Yes. Hi, Alexis. I saw your very opinionated view on the new Sisters models. I agree. FYI, contrast paints make painting ghosts pretty much brainless. Well, that's not what the GW guy showed me, so I'm using his paints. I'm using 3 of his paints because he listed about 20 of them, so whatever. Everyone, Melon Oil and Grax Earthshade. Both are fantastic. I forget to use my GW models. Holder 2. Yes, thank you. It's staring me in the face. Oh, and they have the cool new one, the one that has little arms attached so you can hold things in place for, I don't know if it's for sub-assembly or what, but it looked neat, and then I didn't buy it because they wanted too much money for it. Or at least more than I was willing to pay at the end of the day. I'm like, well, I already have a model holder, and I don't sub-assemble anything. Just paint everything and wing it. Or glue everything and wing it. You know. I'm like responsible adults. There we go. Ah, a beautiful detail coming out in the little corner there. You can see his elbow, you can see the little skull he's holding, which will have to be repainted. And then we need this hand over here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. It's hard not to call you Ego, I'm sorry. Alexis. Things are good here. It's about 100 degrees outside, and while my new stream room's coming along wonderfully, I don't actually have a fan in here yet, so I'm really toasty. Somehow that didn't end up being one of the higher priority items. Ho hum. Just getting really happy about this dry brushing apparently. I think you just want to make sure you get everything though. Especially since I'm going to paint some really dark, leathery looking colors over it too. Alright, that's him. Good. Done. Rakeland Flesh Shade is the bomb. I don't think I have that one. Don't make them too realistic, because you get nightmares! I already grew up in a house that I think legitimately had haunted things going on, some sort of evil spirits. Because if there's a spirit haunting the place, it's probably evil. I think that's a fair assumption. I remember my brothers and I, because we were left alone a lot, and so of course we'd stay up super late, and spooky things would happen. There were weird tricks of the light, and we lived on land, like plenty of land, far away from other houses and stuff like that, and we'd see like lights come through the window, and there's no way lights could be there. And so, me being a terrified child, whoops, really got spooked by that stuff. And then me having an older brother, love to take advantage of that and terrify me all the time. So thanks for that, Jason, jerk. I want a model holder no matter the expense. Curse the expense. Well, fine. For me, I think the expense that was too much was about $16. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just use some tweezers or something. This one was $8. That felt okay. I felt good about that one. That's depending on the mood at the time, you're like, I can justify this. And then sometimes you just kind of want a nice thing because, you never leave your home because you're painting or working on videos. I'm going to assemble my Lord of Skulls. You're going to try magnetizing? Ooh, that's scary. Oh, good for you, Paul. I hope you make sure you have a pin vise and a lot of patience. I always thought it'd be really cool to magnetize, but one, I'm pretty good at losing stuff. So I think that I'd never end up with the right magnet. There would always be one like flawed, weak one. It's one of the things I've always noticed, even on other people's magnetized models. There's like some flawed one. That's the model where the gun falls off all the time or whatever. And then there's always the chance of breaking it because you have to drill the magnet inside. So there's that. Let's try and get this happy spooky going on. Was this when you and your brother stayed up playing Resident Evil 2? Oh gosh, so yeah, I'd watch my brother play Resident Evil 2, all of the Resident Evils, but 2 was like a very legitimately scary one. I was living in New York at the time and still remember those dang lickers being introduced for the first time. Truly terrifying. And we had a 2-story house, and sometimes my brother would like freak me out, surprise me, chase me up the stairs, and pretending he's like a licker or something, and God, he was such a jerk. Anyway, yes, I remember that. And Silent Hill. Silent Hill was the other one I'd watch. Love watching people play horror games because there's no way I would be playing them myself. Actually, that's why I enjoy watching you play the horror games there, Paul, when you were playing like The Forest the other day. And what was that other weird one you were playing? I don't remember. But, spooky things. I like it when other people play the spooky things. Night, Paul. Take care. Stay safe. I hope the weather chills out where you're at. No state of emergency happens or something. I swear I'm going to break this model. Oh my gosh. Freaking me out. We're having a severe thunderstorm here in Central Florida. The DMX mode for RE2 is hilarious. John Trotter, hey, love your battle reports. Thanks for making them. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do intend to do more. Night Hunt, they're so good. Spooky boys. Thank you, I agree. They're not actually even normally my style, but I kind of dig them. They were fun to play. And I fought orcs, so I don't know if they're like particularly good against orcs or not. That said, I totally lost the game because of my objective picks. It does seem like Shadespire is pretty unfriendly to you if you can't like really get a good first turn. So there's that. Make my own model holder with blackjack. Rest in peace, Futurama. Oh, that show is one of the greats. I still love that. I love their movies. Bender's Game, of course, is one I came across recently. Again, so good. It's very inspired, and I don't know that a lot of the new cartoons have really captured the same humor. Although, and this might feel like a bit of a side note, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the new Toy Story, but that has some very interesting humor. Like humor where you kind of look around the theater and go, is this okay? Is everybody okay with this? Because I'm loving it, but it does not feel like it's normally appropriate humor. So, it was interesting. It was kind of an amazing movie for that. Now, let's get your arm there. Doo-doo-doo. If it ain't scary, it ain't fun. Mortis Engines. Wow, I thought you had originally wrote Mortal Engines, and then I was going to rail on about what a terrible movie that was. But you didn't, so that's fine. X gonna give it to you. What are you holding? Oh, right, that's the nail in your hand. What you got there? And on to shade the next guy. Your converted orc spawns. You still in there, Alexis? We need to play another game together. Heck yeah, we do. Well, if I see you in October, we will totally do that. I did get in a game at the mini Wargaming bunker. I don't know if you had a chance to see that. I brought my beautiful borrowed storm sword to a Harlequin fight. It worked in my favor, I would argue. Mm-hmm. Have you seen the game Fords? We still need to play that. I haven't even touched any of the computer games since you left for Warhammer World, Paul. So, which I need to get back to my Chaos Bane review. It's going to be an intense review. There's a lot going on in that game. Wargammer Girls tripping to the dark side? No. Imperium forever. This is AOS. This is like a fantasy world. It's like it never happened. Probably. Actually, I've been listening to a lot of the, do you guys listen to Luton09 on YouTube? He's got a channel that does a ton of stuff on lore. And it's just fascinating to listen to. I mean, it helps that he's like this nice British voice, and so I'm like, okay, I can listen to this. Which is helpful when his videos are like an hour and a half at least. So I've been listening to his primers on like the history of the Imperium and everything that went on with the Horus Heresy and all that craziness, and it's just awesome. I feel like I'm definitely a pretty big fan of old Malkador. What shade are you dry brushing with? Ulthuan Gray. That is the one I am dry brushing with, both my hand and the model. It's probably what I will use on the skull too, and then just highlight it with a like a lighter white. I've got just a really bright white here that I will use over it for any things I particularly want highlighted. But the gray here, it's a very whitish gray, but it does a really nice job on the dry brush. Finally watching you live. Hi Jason, how are you? Mortal Engines too. No. Maybe you'll win, Alexis. Well, just depends on what you bring. Or what we even play. Do you only play 40k, or will you play Kill Team? Well, you weren't a fan of Kill Team if I recall. What about Shadespire? What about Age of Sigmar Champions? I haven't touched that one, so I don't know. Speaking of swords, I got a pick of the Slayer sword at Warhammer World. Nice. I bought 400 bucks of spooky GW models, the New York Codex dropped. Then I got hooked on the new Gloomspite Gits release. Love me all those squigs. Oh my gosh. Do you still? Okay. I don't remember if you played Kill Team or not. I don't know. I don't know all the things you do, Alexis. But yes, we should definitely get in a game. Hey, maybe the sisters will have a kill team by the time we hang out again. That would be fun. Or maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I love how much contrast is brought out by dry brushing. And yes, I'm way overpainting my hand. You can see how much I'm like overdoing the paint on the brush because of it. You don't think they will, Alexis? You don't think they'll have a sisters kill team by October? They want to sell models. I mean, theoretically, they're... I mean, do you think they'll never get one, or do you think this is just going to be like a next year release thing? Painting his lovely, bony, spectered hand. Oh gosh, the amount I'm making him move around. Warcry models are insanely good. Hi Brian, welcome. They will, I'm just annoyed it took so long. Well, I'm pretty sure you're not the only person that feels that way. I don't know, the new models do look really cool for the Adepta Sororitas, and it's hard not to be on board, like a bunch of people are gonna buy them. I wonder how many sisters players, current sisters players, are gonna get all of them though, because there have been so many beautiful alternative sculpts by this point, because they did leave that market just wide open for decades. So I don't know how many people are like, oh well, now we have the GW models, now we'll switch everything, or a lot of people are like, I'm fine with my toughest girls in the galaxy and my what are they, Raging Heroes models and whatever that Russian company is and stuff. Beautiful. So pretty. All right, let's get a different color going on here. I really think for Christmas they'll release Kill Team all in one, but core, commanders, and elites plus White Dwarf rules, like the Kroot. Interesting. So playing Kill Team would be great at Valhalla. Whoever loses gets sloshed by 24 cans of beer, like last time, not just Blood Bowl. Oh my gosh. That Blood Bowl game was so epic and fun to watch. And Quirk and Tyler did such a good job. The problem is anybody who goes to Valhalla, like if they drink, which is kind of funny because ironically I don't drink at all, I just sort of herd the cats. But yeah, everybody's drinking anyway. It's not like anybody's not drinking. It's because they didn't win a game. Okay, so that is, oh, all right. Pet peeve about these Citadel pots is that little backing bit that can get put on there wrong. This paint got dry. I will have to fix that later. How obnoxious. The sisters' hype is real. Can't wait. Beer bowl. Yes. Beer bowl all day, every day. Okay, so for the white portion on top of their cloaks here, I am going to use this color wrought iron from Bulk Art, because craft paints are fine. Especially when you put a Nuln Oil wash over it, turns out. Were all shining in chrome at Valhalla, or were they mediocre? Is that a Mad Max reference? We had a solid Blood Bowl league for about 7 years. It was amazing. We would play at the breweries and nerd-themed bars. We actually have 2 of those now here in Albuquerque. It's kind of nice. How'd your spoopy axe boyo from last time turn out? He, I don't think, did so terribly much damage. He got inspired, and then I think he might have been the one to die, if I'm remembering this correctly. All right, let's just back to my medium-sized brush. And I just dry brushed him, so we're gonna let him sit a bit. I'm gonna come back down to headless here. And we're gonna paint the top of his head, or his cloak, because he doesn't have a head. There's no head. And we're gonna thin this one out a bit, because, you know, these folk art paints don't necessarily keep the most amazing consistency. That back part of the Citadel boss get gunked up. Yes, I know, it's annoying. Like, what am I paying $7 for? Oh, right, Citadel paint. So help me, I'm going to get these models painted. So, this is actually like a, and I mentioned it last time, so sorry if it's a repeat, but it's kind of like a greenish black. Sounds really weird, but I swear there's green in it. I'm gonna have to layer it a couple times because of the white primer that was originally on here. But what I do is it ends up having this kind of off black color. Then I go over it with the Null Oil, and it looks perfect for black leather. Like, just beautiful. So that's what I'm using. But this is a craft paint, so, you know, avert your eyes if that offends you. Fast question here, but where are the Warmahorde bat reps? Hoping Khador isn't losing their edge. I don't know where Khador's at as far as like any meta stuff, game-wise. They're probably about as mid-range as they ever were. Battle reports are coming. I got hooked into a different project, and I was doing a whole IK RPG series, which started in December and wrapped in May and is now in post-production. Post-production by me. So my time has been a little bit occupied, especially since I kind of still have to work a regular job. So they'll come. There's a bit back burner because I've got another project. And I am but one person. Out of control with that brush. Now we have a very solid Necromunda group. GW's smaller games are turning out to be so fun with the right people. Looks like you're painting with charcoal. Yeah, it has a very charcoal look, but I swear there's green in this. Spanish olives, ghostly boys. I would get trashed at Valhalla. Well, you wouldn't be the first one, or the only one. As long as you can handle yourself, that's fine. GW has been really smart with their game releases, because the thing is, Shadespire, it's a board game, it's a card board game, like, it's a nice in-between, from, like, generic board game you buy off the shelf at Barnes & Noble, and admittedly their selection has improved dramatically, and a full-on miniature game, because miniature games for so many people are really intimidating. And so when you're selling something like Shadespire, you're saying, no, this is just a few models, they push fit, they're color-coded, just give this game a shot, and if you like it, you can paint the models or do whatever. So they probably do more to get people into gaming generally than a lot of games, than a lot of full-on war games or skirmish games. Because something even like Malifaux, yeah, it's a small game, but it's still going to be more intimidating than Shadespire, even though, I mean, if you really think about it, Malifaux has a lot of card mechanic stuff you're dealing with too. You're not building a deck necessarily, except you are picking your schemes and stuff, but it's just marketed differently. Thank you, Butter Eggs. Honestly, I appreciate anybody who watches like the backlogged reports. I really do want to get more out, and I appreciate everybody who kind of has stuck with my channel as I've been on and off for the years. Shadespire has the most amazing, or the most characterful models. Molag the Troll is amazing. I have him. I'm probably going to give him to my friend Flo to paint because she will do an excellent job on that. Although I kind of wanted to paint the Spite Shroom, just because my mom and I have this joke back and forth where I argue that mushrooms are evil and horrible, disgusting things, and she likes them. So, you know, in perfect daughter form, I give her grief about it. And so I can be like, look, it's a Spite Shroom. Proof that mushrooms are evil. But I don't know that the joke really goes far enough for me to want to paint a whole model. So. My friends have been loving Blitzball. GW seems to have a multi-tiered product approach these days for sure. Zombie Apocalypse 09, your battle reports are what convinced me to start playing War Machine Hordes. Which faction, I wonder? Rules made so clear. No, GW's approach has been smart. Mushrooms are good. They help plants like pine trees and orchards grow. Yes, they're fine decomposers out in nature. Doesn't mean I want to eat them or have them anywhere in my vicinity. It's, you know, they belong outside or in a fire somewhere, just away from me. But yes, GW's approach to the gaming stuff is very good. I think, you know, a lot of games do try to, a lot of the major game companies have their own versions of that for Infinity. You know, there's people who, I'm sorry, it's not people, it's the game they put out, Aristea. Like, that's a game I can get on board with, because you're like, okay, well, this is just a simple arena game. Here's these models. There's pre-built teams. You can change them out if you want. It's sort of a at your own pace involvement. I think that's a great approach that they took. That's pretty fun. Like, I think they did a good job with that game. So, but GW, they just have so much market share, and they're able to push so many of those games into stores where the other game companies don't necessarily have that reach. And I suspect that's probably one of the difficulties, even for Privateer, with something like Monster Apocalypse, which is another board game, which looks fun. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But, I mean, they've come out with a few. Was it Zombies Keep Out? I mean, that's a super cute game. It's really fun, super easy to play. Like, definitely would be a Barnes & Noble shelf type of game. I don't know, maybe it is. But not too many people know about it. And there's always a matter of getting the under part of his shoulder there and getting those little details. It's important. And washes will fill some of it, but no need to be sloppy now. Do have a fair bit of Cater I could get back to painting. So many layers of red. Any mushrooms are good for you? Yeah, I don't know about that. Portobello mushrooms? No, just stop with the mushroom talk. Clayton and I kit bashed Gene Stealer cult troops and poxwalkers into a chaos cult necromunda game and gave them all toxic fungi names. That's actually pretty funny. I was just thinking today that I should get back to painting my army. Well, no time like the present. Paul, it's my only fault with Shadespire. I always start with the same setup. Can't change their equipment like in Kill Team. Outside or in a fire somewhere. Like, my ability to decide what my first army should be. There you go. Well, Paul, but think about it. Like, for people who don't want to have that level of investment into a game, especially if they're not used to war games, probably don't want to be tasked with the choice of changing out all that equipment. The upgrades still give you a fair bit of that granularity, though, I would argue. Alright, cool. He now has that. Next. Hanged Man. Out of the frying pan into the fire. Bombed. Why did the girl go on a second date with Fungoid Shaman? Well, because he was a bit of a fun guy. Oh, gosh. You guys are the worst. My mom would be very proud of you all right now. We mutually troll each other. She'll like hit my Facebook with like jokes like that. Like, oh. Mom, stop. Well, let's see. Is bombed when your commissar gives you essential oils instead of a bolt pistol. Hey, those oils sometimes do stuff. Maybe. I've derailed the chat. My mid-evening is complete. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. So I don't know. Shadespire is an interesting game for folks who want just that level of investment. And I know it turns a lot of people off who are more involved gamers, I guess, because it doesn't have a whole lot of detail. And it honestly, for some of them, feels like the card drawing takes a lot of agency out, because your deck building is one thing, and then, you know, you still have to pull the cards you need and hope that they happen in the right order, and you only have 3 turns to get whatever you want out of that deck. So I'm sure it can feel a little bit frustrating for people, but I think that if you're trying to get somebody into war games, you probably don't want to totally overwhelm them with the amount of granularity and strategy, because otherwise they're going to not have any idea where to begin. It's probably one of War Machine's faults, honestly, because there's so much pressure on the player to be in control of every element from the list building and the base strategy, that dice have some to do with it, but it's not even most of it, so it can probably be pretty overwhelming. But, you know, for those of you who love it, you love it, and you have that game too. So what is the phrase? It takes all kinds. Very magnanimous answer, I know, but I think it applies. Shadespire is an amazing gateway game. The models are so cool. I think that might have been what won me over, because I got the, which one? The Gits from Adepticon this year. And it was just part of my swag bag. I was like, I have Shadespire models. How neat. I don't have Shadespire. Oh, Shadespire is like a $60 game. Okay. And of course, Shadespire was discontinued by the time I got it. So hey, Night Vault, sure, whatever, $60, get it, play it, and now you have this cool game that takes 20 minutes to play, which is definitely something to consider for people who don't normally play these games, because I think after a while you end up wanting to play for 5 or 6 hours. I mean, even myself, after playing for as many years as I have actually like really come around and been interested in more of the historical games. Like, actually, I think I really kind of want to explore this super realistic element, and you know, the one where you're looking at charts to see how far your mortar can really go. Like, that's actually kind of interesting now. Well, it wasn't before. And you sort of grow into it because you, I think, just understand the game better, layer by layer. You sort of understand the mechanics, and then you're ready to learn something new, and you're ready to learn something new. And something like Shadespire being as base level, like basic to get into as it is perfect because you can hop right into other games with it. Still no warbands for my army, sadly. Oh, sorry. I love the skeleton models. Yes, I have the Sepulchral Guard downstairs. They're not primed, but they look so fun because I can't wait to paint some Deadites. I've drip-fed enough Kill Team in conversation with my friend Jimmy that when I teach it to him, he should get right in. Nice. Space Wolves. The truth is, it all started with Age of Sigmar. That's what got me hooked. The too much candy syndrome. Dude, those fantasy at the time, those models are so intimidating, but I definitely see where it can draw you in because they're gorgeous models. My friends have advanced me slowly. Shadespire was first, then Kill Team. Now I'm starting my first 40k army. Hey, that's awesome. Damn, almost illegal like crystal meth. Don't do it, guys and gals. Miniatures are better for your teeth unless you're a weirdo who chews your brushes. These less competitive and more random, lore-fueled games are very good because it gets the new generation of wargamers hooked, and that's when they want to be competitive in bigger games later. Yes. Being a hoarder, and I've still got every warband, but I really hope that one day I'll get a chameleon skink warband or something. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so there you go. Gateway Games, Shadespire's probably one of the top. And then Kill Team's like a really good mid-level game because again, you get more granular rules. You are building your team. You're adding their war gear. You're building their background, their character story, like their flaws and stuff. If you go that route and do all that, and yeah, and then you go from game to game with sort of the same models, and then you start collecting things, and then you're on the Forge World website, and you're like, well, a Titan isn't really that expensive if I don't buy any other models through the year, and then pandemonium. But it's probably like a couple years before that happens. So anyway, yes, GW doing a great job with that. And I guess they've jumped into the card game realm too with Champions. Josh at Mini Wargaming seems to be quite a fan of it. And typically I do not like card games. I played Magic for a while, did not care for it. But I don't know. Have you guys played Champions? Hey Ruben, how are you doing? Thoughts on the model as a whole? Anything you'd change? I'm a little nervous to paint my Briar Queen herself because, let me just show you. Fiddly bits all day. In fact, just taking her out of the sprue, she lost this little it was like a cross on the top of her head. I think it was broken in the box. So, fiddly bits scare me. She's beautiful. She goes on there and goes on the base, fits together beautifully. But notice I haven't touched her yet. So it's probably fine. It's just got me a touch nervous. But no, I think the models are pretty good. There were a few that needed gap filling, like this guy here, Boardman. He had a gap there that got filled with super high quality, like wood putty. I don't know, you just find whatever because there's such a small gap, it doesn't matter. But so there was some minor gapping, I guess, just to be fair on that. Oh, the Titan pics you have to send me, Paul. Yes, please. How hard is it to get into this game? Into Shadespire? The rule book is not up here, but it's 10 pages, something like that. It's not hard to get through. When you buy the models, it comes with a deck that's already put together for you. So the game in part is a deck building game, but when you first start, it actually just gives you decks to work with, so you don't have to sort that part out on your own. So you actually play it a while, then you can start building decks. The models push fit together. The game board is fine. I think like a learning game, getting through that probably takes about an hour. And then once you know the game, it literally plays in 20 minutes. And so you learn at your own pace, but it's pretty easy in my experience. Now, of course, I've come from full-on war games, so there's plenty where you don't have to learn that part. But even the dice are fine. Like everything, they do use proprietary dice, so you can't just use any old dice for it. So that is a thing to consider, I guess. Ooh, that's a big old chunk. Gross. Even the trailer for the Prophet and the Warlock expansion for TW is amazing. The vine looks like a good opportunity for some glazes and contrast paint. You'll do great. I'm currently working on my Forge World grot tanks for Valhalla. Slippery slope in the hobby evolution. Ooh, I look forward to seeing what you got there. Yes. Never heard of the game. You've never heard of Shadespire or the one that you guys are talking about up there? The game can be taught in about 45 minutes to an hour for those familiar with collectible card games like Magic, and people are up and running. Yep. What is that container? I've got like a Citadel paint pot thingy, and I've got a model holder, and then I've got a bunch of paint, so you'll have to be more specific. And I got to paint his head. The downside to these craft paints is the layering that you have to do, because they're only so fancy. Although I don't know. I used to feel so much more proud using these paints, and now I'm a little more dubious on it, I guess. For models specifically, anyway. They're great for cosplay. Yeah. Smeary, smeary. I'm gonna have to leave soon. How is it that 2 hours have already passed? I only have 3 models painted. Dang it. Yes. A little tan paint container with writing on the plastic side. Tan. Do you mean this one? Because that's just a Citadel water pot. I can't wait for Warkai pre-orders. not sure what you mean. I'm working for on the same warband. Nice, Steven. Painted mine so closely to look like Mingale miniatures. Kitty, hey, how are you doing? So you traded up for some official model paint stuff. Moving on up, girl. Yes, this is true. It is better. I will give you that. Oh, this guy. All right, he's probably gonna need a recoat, but he's wet still, so trading out for him. Gosh, Necromunda. Under an hour for a model's a good start. I usually can go pretty fast. I have been slightly distracted, but that's okay. I can get through this. I think last time I spent like 2 hours on one model and then like half an hour on the next guy. It's kind of funny, actually. Last time I knocked my Citadel holder like that pious Thorn lost her head. Eek. Oh, this thing? This is literally the paint cap for this folk art paint. Like I'm literally just using the cap. It's nothing special. And then I'm just like diluting the top of it. I'm sure this is not sanctioned behavior, but that's what I'm doing. I guess that is a tan container, isn't it? Sorry. No, I like that water pot because it's got a nice wide base, so I don't have to accidentally, sadly, knock my stuff over. And I also have the, I don't know, for whatever it's worth, the distinction of not having yet dipped my paintbrush in my water or my tea, so that's kind of cool. I'm sure it's just a matter of time. But so far, I feel like I should have like a days without incident sign. Well, the truth is, whatever ain't broken, don't need fixing as long as it all works together. Yep. And this paint I've found to be, again, perfect for like a leather look. But I use a GW wash over it, and I think that does a really good job of kind of hiding anything that you put under it. So if I didn't have that wash, I would probably use a different paint. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. He's cool. I also forgot to put green on his face. Yeah. Went to a cafe called the Dice Cup today. Shop and cafe at the front. Back's a massive area of tables and tabletop games to use. Nice. Using the cap is pretty good. It's still better than straight from the pot painting, which will dry out Citadel paint, sadly. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was doing with my what the hell is it? Ulthuan. I don't know why that word's hard to remember. Yeah, it was getting a little sad. And I live in an environment with pretty much no humidity, so it dries out even faster. Although, I really don't have to wait long between layers of paint. Yo, where have you been? Right here, good man. Locked away in my house. Post-production. Trying to order illustrations. Painting models. Not being able to show any of it off yet. Although Kitty's seen some of it. No wet palette, no. I tried to make a wet palette years ago. I did the one where you make your own and you use parchment paper on like a wet sponge or something. It was okay. Turns out this is fine. Just put water in the cap of your paint and go on. I mean, I'm paying like 50 cents for these paints, and they've still lasted me years, so kind of what Chaos said earlier. If it's not broken, why bother fixing it? Detail on these models are great, though. I am enjoying my little Thorns. But yeah, the hope is to actually get some gameplay here soon on them. And, you know, I'm painting this army, but Chosen Axes are done, Sigmarites are almost done. The Troll guy is gonna get done probably here pretty soon. The last models I painted was my Ever Blight army. I used to have my group and called them the Chocolate Mint Army. Okay. Have you ever played the Iron Kingdom's pen and paper RPG? It's probably the best RPG ever played. Well, tell me, Joshua, what do you like about that RPG? Because yes, I have played it. I'm curious what your thoughts are on why you think it's the best. Are you a big fan of the combat system, or what is it, out of curiosity? Still paint straight out of the pot here. Just keep adding water and get little motorized paint Dremel mixer thing. Kind of works. Yes, Ribbit, I know exactly what you mean. Aren't these the paints that grow mold? Yes, but not on the model. And I replaced my antique gold a while back. So, you know, you just hush, mister. Fungal paints, no. Stop. Stop with the fungus. Check out some of my works in the Warhammer 40k couple under my call sign. There are others too that are great in the community tags. I know that you know that you're friends with them too. Yes. Okay, cool. So wait a minute, are you talking about under your call sign on their Facebook? Hello, looks good. Thank you. He's coming along beautifully, isn't he? That is on the back side here, so we need to get that looking goopy. All these colors, gosh, what happened to the good old days when you could just spray paint them, paint their helmets? You know, like orcs. So funny, I used to just hate painting. And it's because it totally intimidated me. Like, I didn't know what to paint something. And anymore, I'm like, painting is peaceful. It's nice. It's calming. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'll check it out, Spaces. Pat's in Texas for training, and he's already racked out, but I know he'd be sad he missed you. I just bought the Shadespire box for Zarbag's. Zarbag's gets his, that's what I got at Adepticon. Funny enough, I haven't painted them yet. Twisted Bishop, going to wake up one day and it's going to be nothing but sprouting models. I would make a great video, though. Sammy, one side question. NOS 4A2 watching. I like it. Scary, interesting, good. A Tor Spock. Let me go find out what you're talking about. No, I have not watched it. Everybody's... This is just a TV show, right? And third novel by the American horror author Joe Hill. No, I haven't seen that at all. But I haven't watched TV in ages. Like, I haven't watched the new Stranger Things season or any of that. J-Mac, welcome. Are you painting too? What are you painting? Zach, I finally got into Wargaming about 2 months ago after playing and working on D&D for the last few years. And playing competitive CCGs before that. I'm not reading any more of your fungus jokes, guys. I really just missed having something more tangible than a character sheet or a deck list. Fair enough. By the way, great costume for the mini Wargaming Resident Evil thing. Thank you. That was a really fun build. I really enjoyed doing that. Actually, on my Instagram too, I'm gonna post some pictures of my other costumes that I did kind of a while back. I did a Claire Redfield one back in apparently 2010. I didn't realize it was that long ago, but yes. And then Maleficent, I did a Maleficent costume last year for Halloween. So I'm gonna share those things on my Instagram because it actually is really fun. Like, I've got some cool stuff in the works for that too. And it's just a timing issue because I go really slow, but I've got some really, really cool stuff to show you. And the fact that Sisters are coming out is really good timing in some of that as well. Just saying. Touch you up there. It's a new texture paint you put on your base. You get decorative mushrooms. Stop it! Painting grots is the most amazingly peaceful thing I've done recently. They're all half size of normal moraines and have less detail. Batch painting actually works. That's the trick. Yeah, that's right. I don't know why. Well, I hate that type of writing. But no, I'm way behind on Stephen King novels. The last one I read was The Gunslinger, the first book, and then prior to that I read Bag of Bones. And I'm like, okay, these are great books, but I've got other stuff to read. Claire Redfield. It's pretty accurate. I've got glasses on for it, so it's not as amazing, but thank you, Paul. I appreciate it all the same. Let me get this guy's face. 4, 6. All right, 10 more minutes and I'm out of here. I'm going to see if I can't get the middle look on these guys done. And that should kind of get him. Okay, let that sit and dry. We can go ahead and put some metal. Did you read Mistborn? Just finished the 3rd one. It's so good. I haven't. I've really read the Stephen King book, if that's the one you're talking about. What have I been reading lately? Well, there's the Acadian Blood one that I've started and then been really slow to continue. And then I've been reading the continued Iron Kingdom story, Stormbreak. I'm from part 2 of that right now. I got behind on it too. Wargamer Girl, so where is your witch head costume? The one that scares the hell out of me. I could have sworn it was moving in the background. It's not a witch head, it's a set of armor. How was Canada in the Falls? Amazing. Oh my gosh. Canada was so fun. First time out of the country. Got to see Niagara Falls. We took the Maid of the Mist tour where they put you on a boat and they like motor out to the middle of the horseshoe-shaped part of the falls, and you just get soaked, but it's really cool and fun. I thought it was amazing. Joshua, to answer your question, I love the IKRPG because it's simple enough new players can jump in, but complicated enough where new players can make fine-tuned characters, and the lore is amazing. The lore is fantastic. Iron Kingdom's RPG lore, just the Iron Kingdom's lore in general, is some of the best. Quick dry brush the ground. Yes, just dry brush. Yep, there you go, dry brush. All done. I'm out. Bye, Clayton. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Just gonna get this metal on and call it a night, and Briar Queen will have to wait. So to answer your question, Joshua, I actually have a recorded series of the IKRPG all recorded and in post-production right now. We're going to have miniatures in the videos. We're going to have artwork that I'm currently trying to get illustrations done on. So it's actually a whole season and a whole campaign that I wrote and game mastered for the IKRPG. So yeah, I have played it. It's super fun, and I tend to agree with you. The social mechanics take a little getting used to, especially if you're coming out of playing something more mainstream, you know, like D&D or Pathfinder. But I actually like the way they do it. The only other thing I didn't like, because I played obviously the updated version, not the D20 version of the IKRPG, is that the old books for the RPG have so much more detail on the lore. Like just the main core books, even if you get Kings, Nations, and Gods, it's just not enough. It's kind of anemic in that regard. So I ended up getting really lucky. Actually, my friend Donald found some of the older books from the D20 system. And so you can't use the rules, but you can still look at the information on the townships, for example. And it can be really hard to get information. Oh, that's just a ball and chain, isn't it? Information on the parts of the world, how some of the economy works and things like that. And the economy is just silly. You have to totally rework that as well. Gold Crown being just the way they convert it is just a hot mess. So I had to rework that for the story. White on white, very advanced technique. That's right, Trista. That's some high level stuff right there. But yeah, the IKRPG show is kind of supposed to be out by now, but stuff happens. So it will be out. It's all recorded, and my cast is so good. Oh, they're such great people, and they all came from like general RPG experiences, and they're actors, and it's so fun. They did such a good job. So I really can't wait to show everybody. Let's get his happy axe painted there too. We need, Axe needs to know what he is. Alright. And that will be a wooden handle, so I'll have to get the wooden handle on there, but that's just, it's brown. I think we all know what that looks like. Alright, so that chain is actually going through his cloak, but back up in here. And then we're just trying to get that detail, because that chain is coming back out of his cloak on both sides there. Cool. Alright guys, I'm guessing I'm going to peel out to see you, Space Wolves. I will check out your stuff on the Facebook group. Previews at Valhalla? Gosh, I hope the show's out before then, Ruben. If not, then yeah, anybody who sees, I'll totally show you guys what I have. To all parties interested. 53, running out of time. That is a nail in that board. His hand should probably have a nail. That would help. And I'm going to switch to a smaller brush for that. But yes, anyway, thank you guys all for hanging out and keeping me company while I do this. Painting is really boring to do alone. The only exception to that is listening to, say, podcasts or lore videos, and Luton has kept me plenty of company lately. So I'm grateful for that, but it's also super fun to hang out and chat with you guys, so thank you very much for that. Even if you wouldn't stop with the horrible mushroom jokes, I forgive you. Mostly. There we go. Got a hand with a nail in it. It's funny that he just runs around and hits you at that board. It seems more painful for him, let's be real. Alright, night, Sammy. I recently finished Minoth John's stuff. Driving through the Citadel Rel. Oh, I'm sorry. Driving through Critical Role is... Diving? Oh my gosh. Through Critical Role as well as D6G lately for podcasts and shows. What's your favorite character combination in IK? I love my Mighty Trollkin Man-at-Arms. Whew. So I did whenever I played a Widowmaker. So that was a marksman spy, I think. No, marksman thief. Because she was super dodgy. Like, if you missed her, she could get away, and she was really good at running away, because this whole thing about Widowmakers being cowards, and so, you know, it really played into that theme. But gun mages are insane. They're so insane in that game. It's a little bit game breaking, in fact, so that's always kind of interesting to deal with. Podcast videos, Dawn of War 3 playthroughs, all good. Thank you, Fall. Pen. Are you gonna get some sleep after this, or are you gonna be up a while? Alright. Get that plopped on there real fast. Go on to this guy. He's got a sword. Now you can tell he has a sword. I don't know, I might dry brush all of him white again. Just to keep that ethereal look. I'm still debating whether or not I want to do that. It is crazy windy out. I wonder if we're about to get a storm. It was about 400 degrees outside today, so I could definitely see us getting some kind of storm front for it. All right. Or Sega Genesis soundtracks. Sega Genesis had some good music. I don't know that I actually ever collected any of them, though. So, what was this, 2.5 hours again? Jeez. I need to paint faster. I need to be more sloppy, I think. There's a literal ball and chain down here. You know, at first I thought that was a skull, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Nope. There's a terrible joke down here. A literal ball and chain. Amazing. Cool, Paul. Maybe we'll chat a bit on Discord and tell me about your trip. Out of time. Dang it. Dang it. I'm done. Out of time. ASMR contra. Do I have a weird sound in this mic again, too? I moved rooms with it, and it's still doing that. Speaking of humidity, I live near a lake, but you'd think it'd be a long time for minis to dry, but I'm lucky enough to get them to dry quickly. No, that's good. Sleeping Pac-Man. I'm running an IK campaign. The Stormlands character seems about as badass as the Gun Mage. Most of the battles so far have been fairly quick. Oh my gosh, I know. There's frustrations I will share about that later. Okay, I got the thumb fully painted. That's what fully matters. Thank you. That's... Thank you for that. It was really the goal of the night. But there you go. My 3 dudes and the Briar Queen is, you know, still not quite done. But it's more than I had before. And that's just about everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm missing somebody. Anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to sign out now and get ready to go to bed. Oh, it's already late. So thank you. I should be on next week. Hopefully these girls will be, or these all models will be painted by then, but if not, then you'll probably see it. Otherwise, I may actually be playing some games. So I'll let you know. Take care, guys. Appreciate you hanging out.